straight at us. All right. There he comes, right behind that little tree. There he is. See him right behind it? Yeah. What in the world? What? I'm putting it down. What? Chunky, shoot him. Chunky, shoot him. Come on, shoot him. Oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna let you out. Hold on. Alright. Alright, come on. So what is happening, people? So today is the 20th of February. The good Lord has given us a nice sunny day. Hey, it's good to see some blue sky and some sun. Anyway, just me and Kenny hunting today. We're gonna get out and hunt a little while. We didn't get to hunt last week because we had all of that ice and storm that come through, and it was just really messy. Had some more weather came in a couple of days ago, so it's fairly nice. We're gonna get the dogs out. We're gonna hunt. It's a big creek bottom in here, a lot of thick briars and honeysuckles, and so we're just gonna give the dogs. We're gonna move along slow, give the dogs a chance to hunt all of those honeysuckle patches and brush piles, and see if we can jump a rabbit. And we're gonna do something a little different as we go along today. Some of you guys may have experienced this, and I'm gonna tell you about our experience with dogs having seizures. And you don't really see a lot online about that, but we have had some issues over the years with dogs having seizures. And so I'm gonna tell you what we have found over the years and how we kind of adjusted our hunting style to help those dogs combat those seizures. So hey guys, stay with us and let's go jump a rabbit. So when we get to a big thicket, like behind this big old briar thicket, we just usually just stand back and give the dogs a chance to get in there and hunt. It sounds like they're on a cold trail in there. Not so sure if a rabbit's sitting in there, but we'll give them time to get in there. And this is pretty big. It's probably, this thicket's probably 45, 50 yards long and wide, so it's pretty good size little thicket. So anytime you get to a thicket like that, just give your dogs a chance to get in there and hunt. You know, it might take 15 minutes for them to hunt it good, but just give them a chance to hunt it. And there's lots of times with rabbits just sit tight. He may not necessarily, you know, shoot out if a dog gets close to him. Dog might have to put his nose right on him before he'll actually shoot out. So let's see if they jump this rabbit. So real quick, like while the dogs is hunting this thicket behind us. So you know, Beagles are in the dog breed that are susceptible to having seizures. And so just give me a minute and stay with me, and I'll give you the background on our dogs and seizures. So Kenny had a male when I started hunting with him, would have these seizures, and he would just come running back to Kenny through the woods like he'd been shocked or like he'd been shot, just squalling and moaning and carrying on. He'd come right to Kenny and he'd sit down, and he would calm down after a short period of time, and then he would go back to the dogs running. And we were running shock collars at the time, and we would think, well, did we accidentally shock the dog and pull him off, or did a briar hit him and he thought he was being shocked? So for a couple of years there, we couldn't figure out quite what was going on. And this was a mystery to us. And you know, it wasn't a grand mal seizure. They wouldn't fall over, but the dog would be like he didn't know where he was. So it's like a focal seizure. So there are multiple types of seizures. I think like 4 types of seizures. And so what he was having, after I'd done some research and we studied up on it, was having a focal seizure. So we bred that dog to a female that I had, and we had a litter of puppies. And so we kept 3 females out of that litter, and they also had seizures as well, very similar. And on a hard run, maybe after a 2 or 3 hour hunting, they would run hard. I mean, just really hard running. They would have these seizures, and many times the first two females that we broke would have seizures within 5 minutes of each other. So if they were on a run, my dog may have a seizure first, the dog would come back to me, and within 5 or 10 minutes Maggie would have a seizure and she would go back to Kenny. And you know, you'd give them 10-15 minutes rest, they would come back to, because their eyes would be glazed over, and they would get over it and they would go back to the pack running. And so after a lot of research and studying, then I determined that there was like a focal seizure. So they were seeing hallucinations, they were moaning, they were just almost in agony. You'd think the dog was in severe pain, but the dog didn't know what was going on. And the dogs would always come back to the owner. Like Maggie would come by me, I could not console her. She had to get back to her owner before she would actually calm down. And so this was a mystery for a while. So in a few minutes, I'll tell you what we did to kind of combat some of those seizures and what we found out would bring those seizures on. So just stay with us. Let's go jump a rabbit. Cold, cold ground absorbing. Been one through there somewhere.
Yeah, when I texted you last night, it was supposed to have been like 9.
There he goes. There he goes. There he goes.
Dang, if he wasn't no been there.
Hock to it, hock to it, hock to it. Just got to jump right here, y'all.
Daddy kicked it.
They'll get him straight right on out there. You probably, as a rabbit hunter, have experienced 2 types of seizures. More of a complex seizure where the dog is disoriented, just running through the woods, crying, looking for some attention from the owner, or either like a grand mal seizure where the dog just basically falls over, quivers, maybe foams at the mouth. So we've experienced both. Only one time with a grand mal seizure. The dog, as I know of, only had 1 seizure, and the dog just fell over, quivering, bad seizure. Lasted about, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. The dog set up, and it took the dog about 15 minutes to actually be coherent, and where it actually went back to the pack. So some of the things we've seen on the focal seizures, like my dog Trixie would go to squalling. I mean, coming through the woods, just running. I had to get her attention. She could hear my voice. She would come to me, and she would actually lay under my legs, lay on her back, and just squall like something was just like she was injured. Eyes would roll back in her head. She would just squall mercifully, unmercifully, and only thing you could do was console her, rub her, get her calmed down as much as possible, and she'd finally come out of it, and then she would just lay there, very incoherent, eyes dilated. And finally, after about 15 minutes, the other was going with the hunt. After about 15 minutes, she would come back to, and she would start hunting. And that's the same way Maggie would do, her sister. Now, we had a third beagle that was in the litter mate. The first time she had a seizure, we were hunting. They had been running hard, and I saw the dog cutting across the field, running wide open, just squalling. And I thought maybe Kenny had shocked the dog, and he said, no, I hadn't shocked it. And that dog just left. It was so, it didn't even know where it was. I don't know if it was seeing hallucinations, but that dog actually left and was gone overnight. We actually left our coat there where we were hunting. And so that was the experience of the focal seizures that we saw in those 3 dogs. The most frequent that we saw, they would just be incoherent, come back to the owner, just squalling, like they didn't know where they were or something was after them. And a lot of it is they don't understand what's going on. It's one reason they're squalling. They don't understand what's happening to them at the time. That's why they want to find an owner. Ain't that her right there? Now we noticed when they would have these seizures, we used to hunt 6 to 8 hours a day. We would hunt hard. We don't hunt as hard now. And those dogs, when we first had our pack, they were really fast and they ran hard. And we would notice about 3 to 4 hours into them running hard was when the seizure would come on. And lots of times those seizures would happen to those 3 beagles within 15 to 20 minutes of each other. One had it, the other one would start looking out that more than likely the other one had the seizure. So we traced it back to a sugar level drop in the dogs. So as those dogs ran and burned calories, the sugar level would drop and it would trigger something with that seizure and would bring it on. So what we did to combat it, we started carrying a Ziploc bag full of dog food, treats, dog treats, or whatever we had. And so along about 3 or 4 hours into the hunt, especially when we was going off somewhere to South Carolina, we was going to hunt all day long. About 3 to 4 hours in, we would stop, give the dogs a break, and give those specific dogs some treats and some dog food and let the sugar level come back up. And a few times we would actually, we'd take a rabbit and cut him apart and give him a quarter to get him a little protein, a little energy back in them. And once we start doing that, we start seeing a difference. We didn't see those seizures coming on. So if you experience that as a rabbit hunter, depending on your dog, what time in the hunt you're actually seeing that. So prior to them actually having a seizure, give them a treat, get some type of sugar into them, dog food, whatever, and that may help them with those seizures. So that was one thing that we started to do with those dogs. Up the road bed. Up the road bed to the right. There he goes. He's coming back in the bottom right there now. Here he comes. He's coming towards us. Yes. There he is in the road bed. Yeah. He's gonna come right around the head.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to reach him. See him right yonder.
He's cutting up the head. You know, as we sit and as we discuss talking about dogs, rabbit dogs having seizures, now by no means am I an expert on the subject. I just wanted to be able to share what Kenny and I have experienced with our own pack, and maybe I can pass this along, and if you're experienced it or have experienced it, maybe you can comment below about your experience and how you adjusted for it. And you know, feel free to carry the dog to a vet. You know, vets are very expensive, so.
Straight at us.
All right. There he goes, right behind that little tree. There he is. See him right behind it? Yeah. What in the world? What?
I'm putting the damn
What? he dead?
I don't have a clue. I was headed dead on him.
There he goes right there.
Where?
He's going up through the thicket. He's going up through the thicket. So the rabbit has done some tricks on these dogs. The rabbit come out of the creek bottom, went up the hill, back down, come to her, come around the edge here, went up the hill, back on the same track, and then come to us. Of course, Kenny shot at him right here. So the rabbit is in this little thicket right here behind us. We pretty sure the dogs will catch him. He's hit. So here they come right here. And we'll watch the dogs track the rabbit right there. Which one is that? So Runt's got the rabbit. The rabbit was injured. Good boys. Good boys. Good boys. Better watch them piranhas. They'll tear them all to pieces. Like his ear. A little shot in his ear. Hey guys, we're going to end this video today and on about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And hey, had a great day out here. Got the dogs, got a little exercise. We got a little exercise. We walked a long ways and hunted pretty hard. And hey guys, I hope you've seen something in the video that you enjoyed. Hope you've seen something in the video that you learned and maybe helped you. Hey, we appreciate all the support we get for this channel. Please subscribe to the channel. That keeps us doing what we're doing. Hit that like button. Click that notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Wildlife Adventures. And as always, it's a wildlife, and I'll see you in the field. Supposed to be doing? What are you supposed to be doing? Ain't you supposed to be running a rabbit? Huh? Ain't you supposed to be chasing a rabbit? What are you doing down here with me? Huh? What are you doing down here with me? Come on, let's go.